Get started in just a minute with day 21. So today's day 21 of 28 vegans. Just like life, sometimes things don't work out like you had planned. So if you're expecting to see Dan tonight from Barn Sanctuary, unfortunately that's not going to happen. Sometimes, things don't work out like you planned, things come up, and we just weren't able to get our schedules just right. So I'll be in contact, and we'll try to make that happen again. But we'll see how well that works out. So, what do I do? So today's day 21, and I've got lots of things on my mind. Things have been kind of saving up through this whole process that I wanted to do afterwards. So I'll just kind of incorporate some of this today. A slight recap. So on Saturday, I had U.S. men's volleyball player Dustin Watton on. And Dustin said the thing that brought him to this journey was the book Finding Ultra by Rich Roll. So everybody knows Rich Roll. Anyone that's in this movement, especially if you're into fitness, the guy has a story that is just incredible, and I really appreciate that. So I myself, I'm not much of a reader. It's something that my ADHD goes crazy. Tough to really get into a book unless it's something I'm really into. So I did recently finish Vodka is Vegan. So I thought that was a pretty good book. You're right. Rich Roll is the man. I can already see that. Rich Roll is incredible in this story. So I didn't know all the nuances of his story and his journey. And I had no idea how incredible this book, Finding Ultra, really is. So my story kind of parallels Rich's on a couple aspects. Which I found quite incredible and moving for myself personally. So I'm at the point, so my wife and I were newly to this vegan movement and new into all of this, right? So I just turned 40 in November, and this book, what really hit Rich was when he turned 40 and he couldn't hardly go up a set of stairs without getting short of breath. And one night in particular, he literally about passed out by trying to climb 8 steps to go to bed. And that was kind of what sparked his revolution. But so back to Dustin real quick. Dustin said this book, after reading it, by the time he got off a plane headed to France, he knew that he wanted to go vegan. He knew it. He said that's what he was going to try. He said, what's the worst that could happen? And clearly, 6 years later, the results have been incredible. So I had never read this book. So it's something. This is the revised version. Which is cool. So I went to Barnes & Noble's on Monday and I bought this book. And because I bought this book, I also wanted a handy-dandy little bookmark, something that was substantial and I could keep with me. And, they all have catchy little things on it. The top of this one says Destiny, if you can read that. And I thought, that's really neat. I'll put it in the book. It's kind of heavy. I'm a gadgety guy. I work in IT, so I'm kind of a nerd in that route. I like something. It's substantial. Not going to lose it. Can reuse it over and over again. So as I start Rich's book, there's a quote in the beginning of the foreword that I just wanted to share. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with their song still in them. Henry David Thoreau. All right. Definitely a worthy quote and something you should share. What I did not realize is this bookmark I bought. I'm a little over halfway through the book now, which for me is a lot. I was sliding the bookmark in one day and I read it again, and it says, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've always imagined. Henry David Thoreau. I didn't even catch that when I bought this daggone thing. So, to me, it's pretty serendipitous, and I thought it was pretty cool to see and make that connection. So for me, Rich struggled with alcohol. Thankfully, my life never sunk to the very, very bottom, but I had a very point in my life that things were very low. I was belly up to the bar a lot. I was not in a good place. And then I met my wife. We actually went to high school together. She's a year behind me. We went our separate ways. We both got married, both had kids, and spent a lot of our time unhappy. I went through a divorce, and then I spent a lot more time being unhappy. I spent a lot of time in bars, chasing women, drinking, driving, doing some very stupid shit. I'll be the first to admit it. And when I met my wife, Becky, cold turkey. Stopped drinking, stopped running around bars, obviously stopped chasing women. I knew that she was not going to accept anything less, so I changed my life in that manner for her, and immediately it paid dividends on my health, on my relationships, and on my future. And then her bringing us to this vegan movement has really spurred things even more. So like this book, as I'm reading it, some of the physical athletic accomplishments this man has, I can't even think about it. I've finished 3 half marathons in my life, and that's like half of a training run for him. Just incredible story, great book. So here's something I want to do with this book. When I finish it, I want to find someone else. Particularly, I want to find another guy, particularly one who may or may not be vegan, and I'd like to send this to them. I would like to send this copy of this book to them, and I'm going to sign it, and after they read it, I would like whoever that is, I'll figure out how to find that out, but after they're done with it, I would like them to send it to someone else, and so on and so on. And each time maybe you send it to someone else, you sign it, put your Instagram or Facebook page in there, and send it on, and see how far we can spread this book and this message, because personally there's a lot of stuff in here about perseverance, about dedication, about commitment, about family. The alcohol part, thankfully mine never got to that point, but if you ask Becky, she will tell you that when she first met me, without a doubt that was something that was coming. It was brewing like a tea kettle on high. If she had not entered my life when she had, that's where I was headed. There's no question. I can't tell you how many nights I'd been out late, drinking, drive my dumb ass home. And I was very fortunate. I never got caught and in trouble. More importantly, I never hurt myself or anybody else by doing so. I don't hide my past. You can't change it. All I can do is learn from it and try to use it as a tool to reach out to others to explain, why you should not follow the same roads. So I'm very fortunate. I see my wife just joined, so, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for her. Through all the drinking and all the terrible food that I'd been consuming, I had started to show cardiovascular issues that were getting pretty severe. I had to seek out medical attention for them, and the thing that fixed them was going vegan. Moving to a plant-based lifestyle reversed my cardiovascular issues. I also have esophageal dysphagia, which is a whole other discussion. It was getting to the point where I'd been taken to the ER several times. When I would eat, my throat would restrict. But it was only when I was eating meat, eating animals that we shouldn't be eating in the first place. In the 3 years since we went vegetarian, and then the year since we've been vegan, haven't had the first issue. It's the damnedest thing when you start picking the pharmacy with an F over the pill bottles, the pharmacy. So, I wanted to start this 28-day series to highlight some of my favorite vegans, people who have influenced me on my journey, people who inspire me, and along the way I still find more inspiration from people I've met, people I've known, people I talk to, even some people I've known for quite a while. I'm learning new tips, new things through this series, and hopefully, others will do the same. There's a lot in my head right now that I could talk about and carry on. Something that's heavy on my heart right now. We have a friend, Randy Gentry. Randy has started a sanctuary in Tennessee called The Cows Come Home. And I had invited her to come and be a part of this series. And I'd reached out to her to finally, finalize a date and schedule, and I hadn't heard back from her. And I didn't know why. And she's a busy girl, right? We're all busy. So then today she sends me a text message along with some pictures. I see why she's busy. She has a new baby that was just born to a mama who she's still struggling. After this baby cow was born, a couple hours later, they didn't realize it, but she gave birth to a twin. The twin didn't make it, and mama's still suffering. So they've had some really hard days down in Tennessee with all the rain, all the muck, trying to make sure that they can do what's best for this baby and for mama. And, it makes me think about things. It makes me think about my life. It's busy. It's hectic. Yeah, we got 7 kids, 6 still at home, but it's people like Randy who are out there knee-deep in mud, pouring down rain, snow, wind, tending to animals that most of the world could care less about. Most of the world sees these animals as products, sees these animals as a source of food. And that's heartbreaking. I've said it before that one of the things I struggle with most, and the hardest thing about being vegan, isn't the food, isn't choosing what you buy, isn't choosing where you spend your dollars. The hardest thing about being vegan is being surrounded by those who care less. It's very fortunate that the vegan community can be very strong and very supportive, and Becky and I have a large vegan family that's close to us that support us. And I'm very fortunate for them, and I'm very fortunate for all the support they give us. So, if you'd think about everyone out there who's fighting for animals, who's speaking up, using their voice, using their talents, whatever that may be, whether it be photography, whether it be documentaries, whether it be stupid stuff like this video series. There are people out there that are fighting every day. They're covered in mud, they're covered in tears, they're exhausted, but they do it because they love these animals, and that's what it's about. So I'm very I don't know, today's one of those days, it didn't go as planned, but I hear this story. Then I get a picture from Randy of this cow in her kitchen. It takes special people to do this, and I've been very fortunate to be a part of this. And I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for my wife. She is she's one hell of a woman, and she puts up with me, so that's a task in itself. But I started this series. I appreciate all the support for this. I appreciate everyone who has been able to participate and schedule time in their busy days to be a part of this, in hopes that something that is said and shared can make a difference along the way. So sorry today didn't work out the way we wanted to. Do they have a Instagram or sanctuary? Yes, they do. It's called Cows Come Home. They're out of Tennessee. They are on Instagram and Facebook, so feel free to check them out. They just some wonderful down home, incredible people who have an amazing story that will be shared one day. And Becky and I are fortunate enough that they shared some of this with us. And my intention was just to come in here and kind of talk about Rich Roll's book, Finding Ultra. And just got a little wrapped up tonight, just everything going on. And so, like I said, things didn't work out today, and that's kind of life. You never know what's going to happen. You can't worry about it. You just carry on. And it just got me thinking about how when I feel I have struggles going on, and I hear stories like Randy's going through right now, and how much I appreciate what she's doing for these animals all over the place. There are so many people out there. Bobby Sudd continually going to Farmer John's slaughterhouse for pig vigils twice a week. he gets asked all the time, if it's not going to make a difference, why do you go? And his response is, because it's the right thing to do. I appreciate all my friends that are out there donating their time to sanctuaries all over the place. And, these sanctuaries don't work without volunteers. They don't work without monetary support as well. So today's just going to be one of those days that, sometimes you have heavy hearts and heavy minds, but you try to push forward and stay positive and do good things and spread the message. So we really appreciate all those who have been a part of this. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know what they're struggling with. And that goes for people who aren't vegan. You may get that guy that comments that he thinks being funny about bacon. You may get comments that people are negative about, animals in general, that they're just products, they're just stupid. And they're not. You got to wonder, though, what are they going through? What are they struggling with in their lives that make them feel it's okay to treat another species like it's inferior? You've heard the term speciesism. It's something, if you'd have said that to me 5 years ago, I probably would have laughed at you. But now that I understand it, that there's no difference in the way an animal suffers and the way we suffer. There's no difference in the joy that we suffer and the joy that they suffer. When you make that connection, it becomes deeper and deeper, and the more you get involved, the more you open your eyes, the more you see, the more you want to do, the more you want to help. And sometimes, people's egos get in the way, especially men. Guys, I'm going to talk to you right now like you got to chalk that shit at the door. There's nothing manly or masculine about being unkind to an animal. It takes nothing away from you, nothing away from your livelihood, nothing away from your manlyhood to be kind to animals, to defend animals. As men, we're supposed to be seen as strong defenders, especially defenders of those who can't defend themselves. And I think more men need to start waking up to that. I'm very fortunate that my wife was strong enough to bring us to this journey, and thankfully I was smart enough to listen. Without her starting this journey, I wouldn't be here talking about this. Absolutely not. I'd probably be out pounding beer someplace. So I owe a lot to her, and I owe a lot to the people in my life that love and support me. I appreciate all of our vegan community and vegan friends, our vegan family. There are many of you guys out there, and really rock on with this. There's some days it gets harder than others, but it's important that we all continue to work forward to make things positive, make things better, not just for animals, but for each other. I've learned that this kindness and compassion that I'm trying to encourage others to see spreads not just to animals, but to each other, how you react to one another, how you react in different situations. It doesn't just carry on through animals. It carries on in your life and every day. And I try to live that. So, as I wrap up here, one of the things I started talking about was Rich Roll's book, Finding Ultra. I didn't buy this book because I thought I wanted to be an ultra athlete. Athletics to me were very important growing up, all through high school and college. I wrestled all through high school and college. And this book symbolizes the courage that you have to push yourself. And to me, I wanted to read this book to find the ultra version of myself so I can strive to be healthier, to be kinder, to be more compassionate. On the personal side of things, to be healthier. I'm probably 50, 60 pounds overweight. I was easily over 100 pounds overweight when I met my wife. She loved me and took a chance on me anyway. A chance I didn't deserve. And I'll never forget that. So this book I'm going to work on after I finish it, which I hope to do it in a couple days. Like I said earlier, I'm not big of a reader, but I want to find someone that I want to send this out to. If you guys have any suggestions, any loved ones, particularly men in your lives that you think would actually read what Rich Roll wrote in this book, I'll be happy to send that to them. So if you want to reach out to me, feel free. You can reach out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, my YouTube channel. It's I cried in the preface. He talked about how his wife was there to support him and push him on and encourage him, and I'm very fortunate to have that in my life. There's been times in my life when I haven't had a whole lot of people be supportive. I still struggle with some things because I have some family that aren't supportive today, and that's very difficult. So keep in mind, whatever you're doing, do it with compassion, do it with kindness. Share that with everyone else because it's infectious. It is absolutely infectious when you spread that message. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You're at the grocery store, be kind and compassionate. You're out in the barnyard, be kind and compassionate. Doesn't matter. It's all one and the same. So, sorry, kind of all over the place. Sorry today didn't work out like I had planned, but that's life. So we'll carry on, and tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow I have the Veggie Pilot on. He is a commercial airline pilot who is a vegan and travels the world. And I can't wait to share his story with everybody tomorrow. And lots to be thankful for, lots to be happy about. See if we can make this world a kinder place. You guys have a good one.